Story: Waiting for Mother. The white walls of the boarding school, the dim light around it, the monotonous sound of the ceiling fan. There was an empty seat there, as always. There seemed to be a strange weight in the eyes of the old woman sitting there, deep, relentless. The nameplate read, "Mother," a word that seemed different from all the words in the world, a strange feeling that nothing else could match. An old woman sat under a huge tree, holding an old photo in her hand, a photo of her teenage son, as if washed away by time, but an eternal hope still burned in the mother's heart. The mother's name was Madhuri. At one time, the only joy in her life was her son, Rajiv. He was her world, all her hopes, all her dreams. When Rajiv was young, Madhuri used to roam around him, her gaze always on her child. Eating together, taking care of her studies, rejoicing in her smile, everything was an impossible happiness. However, one day those happy days came to an end. Rajiv was in a major accident, seriously injured and bedridden. Madhuri was by her son's side, never leaving him for a moment. In the hospital, in his room, even at night she would stay awake, holding her son's hand to sleep. Madhuri's love was overwhelming. She knew that one day Rajiv would recover completely, and would smile again like before, sitting next to his mother and talking. But sadly, Rajiv never fully recovered. His body may have recovered, but his mind and psyche were deeply scarred. He never returned to his mother. One day Madhuri said to him, "Rajiv, won't you come back? Will you leave me?" Rajiv did not answer. From that day on, Madhuri knew that her son's life was going on somewhere else, but she herself kept waiting day and night, as if one day Rajiv would return. Rajiv left the city, lost in an unknown world. He decided to never return to his mother. After going to the city, he started a new life within a few days, but inside him, there was an immense just waiting to be returned to his mother. Madhuri decided one day that she couldn't be alone. After waiting for Rajiv all her life, she finally settled herself in a boarding school, where she had no relatives or friends. Every morning, Madhuri would wake up, take a bath, and begin her prayers with the birds singing in the cool breeze. She would always think, "Rajiv will come back, I know." However, just as that ray of hope was about to fade, one day a new incident occurred. Sumita, a nurse at the Vidbashram, handed Madhuri an envelope and said, "Mom, this is from a newspaper company." Madhuri accepted the envelope in surprise. There was a strange feeling in her hand. Why had the newspaper company sent her a letter? She opened it and started reading the letter. The letter stirred a storm in her heart. It read, "Dear Mother, I am your son Rajiv. I am writing this letter after so long, because I have recovered a little now. Many things have changed in my life. I'm always thinking of you. Can you forgive me?" After reading this letter, Madhuri was stunned. After all these years, Rajiv was apologizing to his mother. It was like a dream. Tears welled up in her eyes. He read the letter for a long time, and every word of it seemed to take him back to those old days when Rajiv was with him. Madhuri thought, "How did I wait for Rajiv for so many years? Did he ever think of me? Will he ever forget me?" But she understood how complicated her son's life was. Rajiv faced many challenges in life, but in the end, he wanted to return to his mother to apologize. In the following days, Madhuri was immersed in deep thought. A strange feeling was working inside her. Love on one side, anger and pain on the other. She started thinking, a mother can never forget her child. Will I be able to forgive Rajiv? Finally, Madhuri realized one day that returning to her child would be the beginning of a new life for her. She would have to learn something in the waiting, understand something. Given the distance that had been created between Rajiv's life and his mother's love, waiting was never in vain. Madhuri knew that there was no set time for her son to return, but in her mind, in her mother's heart, her son would always return. This was her last surviving strength. Rajiv had no deadline to return, but his mother's waiting gave him a new experience, unwavering love and an eternal lesson. In the end, Madhuri understood that a mother's love never ends, and the waiting that lasts is never fulfilled. But, still, that wait, the wait for a mother, remains unwavering forever.